Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome. And I hope you're having a very wonderful time, because I am. So, we're going to take a. Well, I'm just going to rant again, because apparently that's what you all like. Like, I put up video games, and you're like, oh yeah, I'll have like 5 views. I don't know. Maybe I'm just more entertaining when I rant. Old man rants at cloud and all that crap. I should turn myself a bit more. Look at the camera. So, anyway, we're going to talk about making sure you take every shot. Or basically how I ended up in Canada. So it was the year of our Lord 2000. Y2K and all that jazz, where the government was lying to us, telling us that planes were going to fall out of the sky and computers were going to blow up. And I am living in Melbourne. So I still got a bit of a cold. I got no idea why I still have this cold. I have this cold I've had this cold now for like 4 weeks. Maybe it's COVID. Or maybe it's just the fact that I smoke too much. I don't know. Anyway, squirrel. But anyway, so basically, back in the year 2000, we didn't have the fancy chat rooms and chat apps and everything that everyone has now. We basically had Yahoo Chat. I think there was Warner Brothers Chat. And a whole bunch of IRC-based chats. And basically, there was one called Cheetah Chat. It was pretty good. It was like Yahoo Chat, that you could basically change the colors of your messages. I used to have mine set as rainbow, just because I'm weird. But anyway, so there I was in there, and this lady messaged me and said, "Hey, how do you change the colors on the chat?" And I was like, "Well, this is how you do it." And then we started talking like every couple of days, and we started talking every day. And at the time, I was starting work at like 5 o'clock in the morning, because I was working at McDonald's. I was doing the breakfast shift, and I would basically work was it 5 to 1 or 5 to 2? I think it was 5 to 1. Anyway, I used to work 5 to 1 or 5 to 2, one or two. I think it was more so 5 to 1. So I would come home from work and basically eat and go to bed. And then I wake up at like 11 o'clock at night, which put me on North American time. Because if you're up at midnight in Australia, it's like midday in Canada. And it was like, although I think right now there's a 15-hour difference. Is there? Yeah, there's a 15-hour difference right now. I gotta remember that when I call my parents, I don't call my parents at 2 o'clock in the morning like I did last time. And they were not very happy with me. But I think it was only a 13-hour difference there. Anyway, long story short, time differences are real. And so basically I would get up at like 11 o'clock midnight. Get up, have my breakfast. And I would go online. And I would talk to her. Talk to a couple other people too. Just nothing like serious. And then all of a sudden the year 2001 turns around. And I'm like, hey, you know what would be cool? I'm gonna go to Canada on a vacation. So book ticket. I didn't even check and see if I needed a visa. I was just straight up, you know what? I got a ticket to fly. And then basically what happened was I didn't tell my parents, didn't tell my sister. I was living with my sister at the time. Didn't tell her, didn't tell work, didn't tell anyone. I left a message on my bed and was like, yep, I'm done with this country. I'm taking off. I'm going to an adventure. Oh, did you notice? I cleaned. I got all my papers cleaned up. It was 4 loads of my shredder. 4 loads of my shredder. Like, I kid you not, I found power bills from 2002. All neatly together, in order, all with receipts, paid dates, and everything. And I'm like, the hell? Why would you keep this many? I'm still going through boxes of my wife's stuff. That's fun. But at the same time, I'm starting to clear out a whole bunch of junk from my house. But anyway, we're going off on a tangent again, and I do apologize. I do have that habit. Probably why I'm not very good at this. Although you've all been amazing. I think I'm up to what, 100 and... What was it? Let's go new subscriber. 186 subscribers right now. So you've all been amazing. But anyway, so basically didn't do my research. Basically spur of the moment. Didn't really care. Because I was I was stupid 21 then. As I said, didn't care. I was just going on adventures. And yeah. So I hit LA, or back up a bit. Anyway, so end of, well, 3/4 of the way through February 2021. And gotta get comfortable. And yeah, I turn up at Melbourne Airport at like 3 o'clock in the morning. It's like 30 something degrees. Because Victoria was going through a heat wave. I think the last couple of days before that had been like 40 odd degrees. And basically, I called my work from the airport and was like, "Yeah, I'm done. I'm adventuring. See you later." They weren't happy. They weren't happy at all. That was one mistake I made. I said, didn't tell my parents, didn't tell my sister, didn't tell any of my friends or anything. Like, nobody knew. So anyway, I jump on this plane and take off to Canada. I get to LA. Nice and clear. 23 degrees. Absolutely beautiful. Thinking to myself, well, this is pretty fine. This is great. I can't complain about this. I get to check-in. And then check-in's like, yeah, so your plane's being delayed by about 6 hours. And I'm like, well, that's not good. What am I going to do in LAX for 6 hours? I drank coffee. So anyway, I was in LAX for about 6 hours. 6 to 8. No, it was 6. Yeah, LA was 6. Plane finally turns up. I get on the plane. Fly to Toronto. I'm looking out the window. It's like 10 o'clock at night in Toronto. Look out the window as the plane's coming down. All I see is white. All I can see coming from the window is the snow going past the freaking window. Here I am in freaking shorts and t-shirt because, well, why not? It was summer where I came from. Another thing I didn't research. What's the weather like in Canada during winter? I don't claim to be, well, I mean, I am pretty smart. At times. A lot of times I'm not. And that's my phone going off. Anyway, there's times I'm smart, there's times I'm not. But when you're this beautiful, you don't have to be smart. I mean, let's face it. Except for this damn receding hairline. But anyway, so the plane lands. I'm looking out the window as the plane's like taxiing. There's just snow plows everywhere, big piles of snow. Snow is coming down. It's a freaking blizzard. Mind you, by this point, I think I'd seen snow 3 times in my entire life. I'd gone skiing once. I think I was like 12. And I was like just learning to ski. We were coming down a hill. And then all of a sudden, this heifer on a freaking snowboard just comes down and just whack, freaking bowls me over. I don't want to ski anymore ever again because I weigh probably 100 pounds and she probably weighed like 350, and it was like a hit from rugby. It was just whack. And she came down on top of me. And I mean, granted, that was the first time a woman laid on top of me. But anyway, so there I was, watching the lovely snow plows and snow in Toronto. And that was the point where I thought to myself, this was a freaking mistake. So I wasn't ready for this. I didn't have a jacket. Like, I mean, I had like a stockman's jacket. Which, funny story about that. Funny story about that. Like, here in Canada, I worked at McDonald's. And the delivery truck was there one day, and like the weather was rainy. So I had my stockman's jacket on. Anyway, I was really good friends with the truck driver, and like my best friend, who's still my best friend, was working at the time. And so I'm standing on the other side of the truck from the drive-through because the truck's like parked. The drive-through's here, and the truck's like parked here, and they're like unloading through the drive-through. And the truck driver like yells over my friend, and like there was this idiot manager. He was like as dumb as a sack of rocks. Anyway, so the truck driver like yells over, "Hey, there's somebody over here flashing cars in a jacket." And then this idiot manager, without thinking, without checking or anything, goes inside, tells the store manager. Store manager, once again, was about as fucking sharp as nothing. Anyway, she calls the cops. I walk in to the office to start my shift, and they just stare at me. And then all you hear is the store manager say, "Oh, shit." Because they thought there was literally somebody on the other side of the truck flashing the cars as they were coming through the drive-thru. Anyway, tangent, sorry. Let's get back on track. So anyway, so I'm in Toronto. My plane to New Brunswick was cancelled because of the weather. And because it was like 10 o'clock at night. So I had to overnight in Toronto. So the entire night in Toronto, I'm just like, this was a mistake. I took a shot, and this was a bad shot. This was a big mistake. And then freaking next morning came. I mean, there is nothing open at Toronto Airport at 2 o'clock in the morning. Nothing. I mean, there's vending machines. That's about it. That place closes down like freaking Australia used to in the 90s on a Sunday. And I got stuck there. Not a happy boy. Anyway, so finally the next morning shows up. Get in the plane. Fly here. And get off the plane. Mind you, I'd been speaking to the woman who would become my wife for about 6-7 months at that point. Online. Like video chats and that. Never actually like seen her in person. So I got off the plane. I was like, surprise. Anyway, things continued. We ended up getting married. Ended up being, I think, was the right choice. Maybe the right choice. Do I think things would have improved for me in Australia? Or turned out the same issue in Australia? Maybe. Very maybe. But then I wouldn't have this adventure to Canada for 23 years. Would I? So anyway, so I took the shot. I moved here. Ended up with my son. Had a good 18 years with my wife. And I think if I hadn't taken that shot, then like I mean I know life would have turned out very very different. Like it would have turned out extremely different. I've probably been like working up on a mine somewhere, making a lot more than I am right now. But at the same time, I mean, New Brunswick, Canada is actually a pretty beautiful place. But I can't wait to move back to Tasmania because I mean, Tasmania's home. Tasmania's always going to be home. But yeah, so basically, sometimes you got to do things that you probably wouldn't, and you have to take the shot to do it. Because if you don't, you never know what you're going to miss out on. I don't would have missed out on this. Although some things I could have missed out on. I think some things could have been. I would rather say there were some things I didn't want to deal with, but at the same time, I mean, it happens. It happens. But yeah, so that's basically the story of how I came to Canada. It took me like a year and a half to get my residency, and did it take me a year and a half? It took me about a year and a half to get my residency. And I looked so cute when I got married. I had a big beard like out to here. It was like massive. I looked awesome. Because my beard was still brown then. Now my beard comes in grey and I'm getting like really sour with it. But I think I've ranted long enough. Just a little like expose on my life. And yeah, if you like what you see, make sure you like. You know, it's only 10:20 at night, and I am already tired and mumbling my words, and I haven't even drunk. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I think I'm going to live stream on Friday. So if you want to pop in and say hi, you can. Just going to play a game and do an AMA, I think. I mean, if you got any questions or anything, hit me up. If you, as I said before, if there's anything special you want to hear me rant about, talk about, just let me know. Because I'm always looking for ideas, and I'm one of those idiots that can rant on any random topic for so long, as long as I have a topic. And I can just rant and rant and rant. Old man yells at cloud. So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you had a wonderful time. I hope you liked a little look into my life. I got a whole playlist of vlogs that where I basically talk about stuff like pineapple on pizza. I'll fight you over that. Pineapple belongs on pizza. I will fight anybody. And I mean anybody. But yeah, so if you like what you see, make sure you hit the like button, hit that subscribe button, ladies and gentlemen. Have a good one.